Oh my God. Woo, woo, woo. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever it is for you, wherever you are in this great big world. We got people already saying comments. I just got to say hello to everybody, of course. Don't adjust your set. Don't adjust. That means your camera, your phone, your TV, your light bulb. Don't adjust your pants. Don't do nothing. Get grandmama out of bed. Put her teeth in the right way. God forbid she eats herself. We don't want that. And of course, get Fido the family dog up here. Get Clarence's cat as well. Get them all around. Light your candles. Tell the ghosties to come around and gather on. This is a hell of a show today, folks. Of course, my name is Michael John of Michael John's Paranormal Ghost Stories. Whew, I can't even talk. I'm already losing my mind here. Next to me, of course, is my co-ghost host. He is the man of the hour, the man of the power. Always ladies, too sweet to be sour. Dale, high spirits, Quigley. Together, we are the voice of the paranormal, the voice for the paranormal, Windsor, Ontario's own, the Paranormal Voice. And what a great show we got lined up today. We got an amazing young lady that we're going to bring on in a few minutes here. But first, we got a couple things to talk about. Dale, I'm looking at our calendar, and the calendar is full. Hashtag blessed, thankful, grateful. Our calendar is full. We got a lot of to-dos yet to do before the year is out. Here we go.
Oh.
We got this interview tonight happening live and in color. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in right now. The Get Haunted Network, Paranormally Blonde, all of our TPV Nation, the creeps, the freaks, and weirdos that make up the TPV Nation. Everybody viewing right now. It's lighting up on the side with comments. But, Dale, up the road this weekend, you're going to what is called the SageCon, hosted by the very lovely England's own MJ Dixon. Get on it. Tell us all about it.
Absolutely, brother. You know, like I said, I am so pumped for this weekend, and I'm so bummed out all at the same time because this is going to be one road trip that is going to be feeling a little bit different because you're not going to be with me, but you know what, you got to do what you got to do, and I'm going to be out there, and I'm going to try to represent us to the best of our ability, making people laugh. Do what we do while we're on the road. I look so forward to this, being able to hang out with the great Jeff Belanger, the OG John Zaffis, and I look forward to meeting Kim Sage and Kelvin Von Crush. Like, when we were talking to MJ on Sunday, like, this guy sounds so interesting. I just cannot wait to sit down and pick this guy's brain. And of course, get to spend another great weekend with the lovely Miss MJ Dixon. You know, it's going to be a great time. The event, for those that are still wanting to go, MJ was telling me there's less than 10 tickets left. So, folks,
wow,
get on over there. Go to sageparacon.co.uk/shop and get your tickets while you still can. You still have time. Friday's a meet and greet, and then all the festivities start Saturday and Sunday. It is going to be an absolute ring-a-ding-dong dandy of an event, as Michael John likes to say. But I'll tell you, I am so looking forward to getting on the road, getting up there, getting to Virginia. I've never been to Virginia, so this is going to be another exciting thing. I mean, just down the road. But you know what? Before we bring out our fantastic guests, I just want our TPV Nation fans to know, and I do want to say hi to, I think that would be Rob from the Get Haunted Network and Sarah from Paranormally Blonde. And our Facebook user is the lovely Chris and Bob, who we get to meet quite often up and down the road. Chris and Bob, we love you guys. Thank you for showing up.
Thank you.
But, you know, folks, I'm so proud of this man that's sitting right next to me. I'll tell you, he is This man has been so inspirational to me.
Rhonda Hart.
And I'll tell you, Miss Rhonda Hart is joining us. But folks, check this out. Brand new book. That's right. Our very own Ghost co-host Michael John's first debut book has dropped, folks. That's right. It is available on Amazon as we speak right now. So check it out. If you get your hands on a copy, I mean, they've been selling like hotcakes. I think Michael John called me up last night and said, dude, they're out of stock. And I'm like, that is absolutely awesome. So,
yeah,
hey, we hope.
I thought there was a glitch in the matrix. I actually called Amazon and they said sometimes with new authors, they don't expect them to sell more than 3 books because I sold, I think, 4 total. No, but after there's a certain amount, I guess they run out of print for it. It's print on demand. But I was like, okay, so I had to go in and do a couple things. So now it's just a work in progress. It's going to basically be republished, which will be any second now. It could be tomorrow, but of course I'll put a link up again when it's good to go because I've had a few inquiries. Very, I'm beside myself at how well it's doing, actually. Michael John's Paranormal Ghost Stories available on Amazon.com. Now, with enough of that, yes, it is time to bring out our lovely guest. We had a few minutes to talk with her backstage to kind of get to know her a bit, and she's telling us that she's shy and gets nervous for all these things. But I'll tell you, when you see her out at her events with her crew, and we'll get into that, the Get Haunted crew, the Paranormal Blonde crew, Sarah Jane Kamizik Villani and Rob Sakowitz and the rest, Kyle Mangus. There's so many good people there involved. Dee Dee as well. You'd never know. She's as confident as anybody. So I was surprised to hear that. But I told her we'd be gentle. The TPV Nation would be gentle. She's going to be just fine. Without further ado, we're going to bring out Get Haunted's own investigator and trainer, the very lovely Dani Marie.
Hey, that was a beautiful intro. Thank you.
Are you kidding? It's the truth. That's you. That's you in a nutshell, young lady, for sure. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
As they say, an honor and a privilege and a pleasure to have you with us right now and with the TPV Nation live and those watching later. Thank you so much, Dani Marie.
It's phenomenal. I'm excited to be here, but yes, I do get a little nervous. So apologies ahead of time if I stutter or whatever.
No, you're good.
It's okay. Whatever you do wrong, we'll just blame it on Rob because I think that's just. I think that's just how.
Right.
You don't know. Rob said Rob is the best. I don't know. I think Sarah might have a problem with that. I'm not.
They're kind of even for
that. But we've got Mark Brown popping in. Says, "Hey, what up, Dani?"
Happy birthday, man! It's Mark's birthday.
Oh, happy birthday, Mark.
Someone below, I don't know, is that if that's Sarah or Rob saying if Dani doesn't do well, you're fired, Dani.
Oh, well, it was nice knowing you guys.
I think Sarah would have an issue with that. Considered Sarah and Dani are so close, they'll just team up and fire Rob altogether. I think that's how that would work.
Hire me, and then Sarah can rehire me, so we'll be okay. It'll work.
A vicious circle. I love it.
Just negotiate for a higher pay wage.
Yeah. That would be nice.
No, Dani, it's such a pleasure to finally get to sit down and talk with you and get to know you. I'll tell you, you are the highlight of my mornings. I wake up and the first thing I see is your tarot pulls. And,
yes.
I love my tarot cards. I've been trying to teach myself how to do it. So that I would love to sit down and pick your brain on tarot reading and stuff like that. But yeah. I wake up most mornings and that's the first thing I see on my Facebook news feed is there's the card of the day and I'm reading it, see what it is and see how it's going to resonate with me that day. And there's days that brings me up and other days it's like, wow, I hope that really works for somebody.
So, it's funny because I had started that whole thing because I had been into tarot for, God, I think since my early teens. I had gotten my first deck as a birthday gift for, I think I was think I was 15. I actually kind of don't remember. I'm 40 now. I can't remember most days anymore. But but no, I got my first deck when I was 15, and at one point actually was terrified of them. I was really scared because I was going through a part of my life where like I kind of didn't want to know the news it was gonna give me, you know. So I put them aside for the longest time, and then I realized, you know, it is something that I'm passionate about. I do want to learn them, but if they're sitting in the corner collecting dust, I'm never gonna learn anything. So I started pulling a card a day. And then I had a couple of friends reach out and they're like, hey, you know, would you do a reading? Is that something that you would do? And I'm like, you know what? I'm so in my comfort zone right now that I'm afraid to give people a reading. So let me just push myself out a little bit. So I started Divination with Dani, and I was like, you know, I'm going to do a daily card. I'm going to sit with that card every morning, and whatever comes to me is what I'm going to write. And then I'm not going to lie, all of the little keywords, I totally cheat and I pull them off of a website. So that's totally not me, but like that, the first thoughts, that's all me. And a lot of times I get excited when they match up really well. I'm like, okay, but it's all just, I vibe it out. And I get really surprised. Like I'm surprised that so many people took to that. Like I thought that was just going to be a thing that I was doing just to get myself outside of my comfort zone. I'm like, you know what, if no one looks at it, that's fine. At least this is pushing myself to learn a little bit.
Sure.
So yeah.
And I love your catchphrase there. What falls to the floor comes to the door.
The door, yeah.
It's brilliant. It's brilliant. But and there's
I wish
been many
I could take
times.
credit for that. That's been a saying that's been around for a while with the divination community. But
well, I put it with you, and that's it. That's all. That's where it stops. Damn it. But
thank you. Yeah, anytime you see that on my post,
yes,
that's because a card jumped out of the deck. So I'll put that. You don't always see it on there. So when you do see it on there, fun fact, it's because something like decided it needed to be read that day. So
I love that. I love that. I don't get to necessarily see a post every day, just because of my job or whatever. But I'll tell you what, there's been many times, for sure, when you have your card pull and I had a chance to read it, it's resonated in so many areas of my life. So, I mean, my point is this, you're spot on, whatever you're doing, you got gumption, you got something going on there. Don't stop doing it.
Hey, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's definitely, divination's been like all forms of divination, because it's literally just using tools to kind of contact the other side, your higher self. I think personally, it's more you're connecting with your higher self and, you know, and the powers that be. And you kind of already, in my personal opinion, obviously not everyone's going to agree with me here, but you kind of already know everything you need to know. You just don't realize you know everything that you need to know. So using those tools like, you know, the tarot cards, or I know some people frown on the Ouija board, but the Ouija board and pendulums, they're all ways of just connecting with that energy that's already there.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, they're all tools, right? And I agree with you there. Any of that stuff is a tool. Some of us, we were brought up to fear a lot of this stuff, but then you get an open mind to it. And you know, when you get out what you put in, you're looking for good, you're going to get good. You're looking for bad, well, you're going to get bad. But again, a Ouija board, I can't say enough, is a great tool to use. Ghost box, great tool to use. Automatic writing, you know, scrying, on and on, right? There's so many wonderful tools we can use and take advantage of when it comes to communication, right? So,
oh my gosh, scrying. So Get Haunted has done, and we're planning on doing more of these, but we had done a specialized event on making sense of your senses, right? And each of Rob, Sarah, and myself each took a turn teaching something to our group of people to help them kind of open up and connect with themselves on a higher level. And Sarah did this amazing, she did this scrying with a twist. So it was scrying with automatic writing. I think that is like the only form of scrying I ever want to do from here on out, because it was, you connect so much deeper to yourself and to like whatever's around you. Blew my mind. So yeah, when you say scrying, I'm like, that's right. I have a little scrying mirror over here. I'm going to start doing that on my page now too, like doing little tips for that or something. Thank you. You just made me realize I want to do that.
You're welcome. You're welcome. What's now talking about all of that stuff? I mean, what back in the day or whenever it happened, what got you started or got you interested in the paranormal? What was it?
Oh, like in general, I always go with the generic since I was a little kid. But honestly, when I was very young, and I'm going to say like around 7 or 8 is probably when I can say that I definitely for sure know that I've had experiences. I grew up between my grandparents' house and my parents' house, 2 very old farmhouses, property that had Native American massacres. Like there's a lot of energy to these lands that I lived on. And would always have like those things out of the corner of your eye where you're like, at first you're like, I don't know, maybe I'm seeing things, whatever, or you think it's your brother or somebody running by you, so you don't really pay attention to it much. And then one night I had this experience where I was pulled out of my bed, like forcefully pulled out of my bed to the point where like so my bed would have been like on the side wall, which is I think why I don't like my bed being on a wall anymore. I think that really did mess me up a little bit there. But so it pulled me off of my bed, and I had, like when you grab yourself, like if you grab yourself, wow, that sounds really horrible. Someone grabs you. How bad did that sound? After I said it, I'm like,
sorry.
Poor Danny.
It's fantastic. Carry on.
Like that mark you get sometimes when someone grasps you? That stayed, and it felt like minutes. I'm sure it was only seconds, but it was huge, like way bigger than my hand. I'm the only one that sleeps in that room. Nobody had come in. Could not explain it. There was this sense of dread. So I hightailed it over to my parents' bedroom. I think I slept there for about like almost a full week. And so I had an experience in their room where I saw something come out of the closet that looked like an old farmer and a German Shepherd, like with enough detail that I knew it was an old farmer and a German Shepherd. So then like I wouldn't sleep in their room either. And my parents like, I don't know what's wrong with you. I don't know. How do I help you? I refused to tell them. I was so terrified because at that point I'm like, they're not going to believe me. Who believes that, right? So so after that, it kind of after that experience, things kind of ramped up a little bit for me. Like things would get misplaced. I would have these smells that you could like you can literally follow. There was this one smell, and it was, in my opinion, disgusting. It was so gross, but you could follow. It was just like unwashed person and like dirt and grime, and it was disgusting smelling, right? And you could literally follow this smell from room to room in the house I grew up in, and I don't know how to explain this. So, I figured brush it off, whatever. I didn't realize that having experiences was not normal for everybody until, I started talking about it more in middle school and high school. And I was now the weird kid because I see things, I feel things. And so, kind of on the not that I was an outcast, but I've never really it kind of kept me from wanting to really connect with people because people looked at me funny because I was like, oh, surreal and this and that. And so kind of tried to ignore it a little bit, and then moved out, grew up, got my own places. I figured that stuff's just going to stay, right where it left it because, whatever, properties, houses, ghosts can't leave houses, right? Like, I don't know what I was thinking because they can go wherever the heck they want. They follow me to every single place. So far, I don't think I've had a location where there hasn't been some form of activity. So maybe I'm haunted. I don't know.
Well, or you have gifts and they're attracted to you. They, some of us have that gift that they're drawn to us, and you have that. It's not that it's a negative thing, right? It sounds like a positive thing to me. That's awesome.
I don't think it's necessarily negative. You almost become like a lantern in the middle of the darkness, kind of like if you're connecting, right? I'm a firm believer that if you try to connect and you make a contact, then you're open for business. It's an open line of communication now. So. Yeah, which I think we were talking about this backstage where like how I'll have things follow me home, but I'm the idiot. Like, you want to be my friend? Can I be your friend? Like, yeah.
No, absolutely. I mean, I just think some people are like ghost magnets. No matter where they are, it's like activity follows them. And so, I mean, those are great people to investigate with because something crazy is going to happen. We got a few more people that are popping in. We got Sarah Russell, Joseph. We're going to butcher his name in Bagioli. Yes. I actually had the pleasure of meeting him at the Paul Myra investigation. He was absolutely amazing. Him and the other guy that's part of next of kin,
Dominic. They're amazing.
Oh yeah, the tools that they brought, the sensor lights that they created were absolutely amazing at the investigation. So welcome to those guys. Thank you for tuning in. We have Sherry Scott watching. We have Angela, Angel, oh boy, I can't even talk. I think
How you
Danny
doing, buddy?
I'm having
projected that
enough
on
with you
me.
guys. See, told you.
So, but we have Angel or Angela watching. Thank you, Angela, for tuning in. She said thank you for sharing your experiences. But yeah, no. Now I lost my train of thought. Oh boy, I
Need
think
help?
Danny's making me nervous.
I'm telling you, I just throw that nervous energy out there. I apologize, guys.
Oh no! It's a good thing. But so how did you end up meeting Rob and Sarah, or how did that whole thing come about?
So when I finally decided that I wanted to do something about the paranormal, I really wanted to do my own group. Like I was like, yeah, because like I went from having the experiences to then all of a sudden paranormal talk or not talk shows, paranormal shows kind of became a big thing, right? Like it started with Taps and then Ghost Adventures, and then like all these amazing shows started popping up everywhere. So I was like, I can do this. I'm gonna do my own, I'm gonna do my own group and I'm gonna go out there. Yeah, right. Okay. Let me tell you. Nobody wants a 20 something, like a 19, 20-year-old who has zero experience dealing with things on an investigate. I had so many doors slammed in my face. It wasn't even funny. Like it is the hardest thing to either like to get in with a group. So I was like, I don't know how to start a group. I'll get into a group. Couldn't do that. So that's when I was like, I'm going to start my own group. Nobody in my area wanted to investigate at that point. Right. I don't know. I wasn't around my people, I guess. I don't know. So I ended up doing, like a soul searching, I'm going to find myself trip after all of these things happened and I couldn't get in anywhere and I was feeling really bummed out. So I went out to Gettysburg by myself. I was like, I'm going to spend like, a long weekend out in Gettysburg. And I got out there and I met Pam and Steve Barry out there. They had a ghost exchange in Gettysburg at that time. And so they helped me network with people. And so I finally had my in right in the paranormal. I'm all excited and I'm networking with people and I'm learning all these skills. And so my networking got me to the Shanley Hotel, right? And I don't know if you guys have ever been to the Shanley Hotel. This place is phenomenal. Napanoch, New York. If I got that right. Oh, I always butcher that name, but it's in New York. Kelly, the owner, she is she's a doll. She's so sweet. And we got to talking about where I'm from and how I've always wanted to kind of get into a group. Cause at this point I'm just anybody that's random that was, I've known long enough that I want to go investigate with them. I was, jumping along with them. So she's like, you know what? There's this group. They just got started. They're around your area. You should really give them a try. And she told me, it's Get Haunted. They just started, gave me Rob's, info to get a hold of him. And we got a hold of him. A friend of, at the time, a friend of mine and myself got a hold of him. We're like, hey, really interested in investigating. Somehow convinced him to come out to Gettysburg and investigate. I can't remember the name of the hotel. I can't remember. Rob, what was the name of the hotel? I can't remember it. Anyway, we all booked our own rooms, right? So that we had rooms to investigate. And we spent it honest to God, it felt like I had known Rob for forever. It was the easiest thing to investigate with this guy. His skill set was I was like, I need to learn from this dude. He's got great skills when it comes to investigating, and just his passion and his core values just lined up so beautifully. And I'm like, I got to be a part of like, this is what I've been looking for. Like Farnsworth. Thank you.
Thank you, Rob.
Thank you, Rob.
So then I started going to events. I was like, I'm just going to show up to whatever event I can get my hands on, like a ticket for, I'm going to go. So I went to a slew of events, and finally, I don't know how, I somehow talked him into letting me be part of the crew. And then I worked my way into being strategy manager, and here I am. Culture and strategy manager. Who would have known? But
I love, the whole Get Haunted, story. How, like Sarah Jane says, it's real simple, man. There's room for everybody in the sandbox. It's about networking. It's about raising everybody up, not just one person being selfish or whatever.
We started a hashtag for Oh, that's phenomenal. But no, it's just the whole fact of everybody with Get Haunted, we want for everyone to have their moment, to have their voice, to know that they are important. And every single person, you don't need to be a celebrity. It's actually very, very personal opinion here, because I don't want to get anybody in trouble here. My personal opinion, I think that it's so much more to have those little, the guys who don't think that they can make it, to give them their voice so that they realize that they can make it, and to give those groups that are just getting going, and Rob and Sarah, it's
awesome.
part of their passion, and they just, everybody with open arms, and I love that so much.
And you never hear a bad word said about Get Haunted. Nothing but positive experiences from anybody that we've ever spoke to, or anything we ever see in good old Facebook news feed or posts or whatever, in comments. Everybody, oh my God, you guys are so professional. You made me really feel like I was a part of, on and on. And I tip my hat to you and the whole Get Haunted gang. I mean, awesome.
So we want everyone to feel like they're family, like because they do belong. It's when we have people out on an investigation, that is their moment. It's their investigation. We're just there to facilitate their moment. Who wants to go somewhere and watch somebody else investigate, or watch someone else run down the hall? Like, that's,
oh my God,
who would want to spend money on that? God, I've been to events where that happens, and I'm like, it's the biggest waste of time and money in my entire life. So no, never. When you show up, that's your time. That's your moment to shine and figure yourself out. And we're just there to help you, So
coming from an experience, like, I mean, I was out at the Palmyra, New York investigation with you guys. I had a wonderful time with Kyle, Bree, and Terry. 3 amazing investigators. Like I said, absolutely amazing time. And from the moment get go, it didn't really feel like I was like paying to attend an event. It just felt like I was in a room full of friends, and we were just checking this place out. And it was such a relaxed but fun day. Like, I mean, they had so much activity going on, and the experiments. And that was the other thing that really intrigued me, was like, Sarah, Rob, and everybody at Get Haunted has such a great mind. It's like, you're not shy of trying to push the envelope and the experiments. And like, they did the Estes method that night, which ended up, I thought, was fascinating. Just to try 3 different locations, 3 different states. It was like, wow. It's like, you hear about it, but but to see it done in 3 different locations that weren't even close to each other, and how well it was done, it was like crazy. But it was.
We actually got I feel like there was communications between all 3 locations. Like, all 3 people had stuff from the other locations they feel come through. It was phenomenal.
Oh yeah, I mean, my son, my son, like I said, he tried the Estes method for the first time, and I mean, I didn't even think he was even going to try it, because it's like, he's new to the paranormal. I'm slowly bringing him into the paranormal world, and I was like, okay, I was like, okay, let's bring him out to some place that I know that didn't have really scary history, because I would definitely not bring him to the Hinsdale house at this moment, because he doesn't have enough.
Ease him in.
He doesn't have enough experience yet, and it's like, you don't throw the wolves into somebody new into the den of wolves. And I mean, I love the Hinsdale house. That's one of my favorite places I've ever investigated. No, that's the one thing that I liked about the whole being there at the Get Haunted event, was no matter what your experience level was, it was like they were there to kind of push you to kind of up your game a little bit, and it was fascinating watching everybody else investigate, see the different styles, techniques, the way people do it, and that's how you learn.
It is how you learn. Everyone coming together, and obviously, you don't like you said, you don't need the experience. We will help you through your evening. If you don't have experience, that's fine. You'll learn as you go. Like, don't ever let that stop you, ever. Like, I love that you brought your son along, and he's getting used to it now, and that you guys got to do the Estes. That is, honest to God, that's one of my favorite things to do on an investigation, is the Estes method. I love it. It's one of my
I haven't tried it. I haven't tried it yet. I'm gonna try
next time, bro.
Well, see, we're going to Ohio State Reformatory in November. to do an investigation. So that's where I'm going to try it. I'm going to try it inside the prison.
You have to let me know how that goes for you. You have to, please.
So Colby, when you guys were doing the Estes method, tell Dani Marie and all of yours what happened with Colby, what he experienced, because that was pretty intense in its own right, anyways, for his first time. Oh my God.
Oh yeah. He well, from the moment he went under, so I guess from his words was the second that they turned on the SP7 box, it said his name right off the bat, but then it told him to run. So it really freaked him out. But it's. I mean, I when he told me that, I mean, like, I would have got up and said, "Okay, gotta go." They told me to leave. See you later. No, he's
I'm trying that.
Yep. And so as he was sitting there, and the funny thing is, all three people that did the Ested method where we were at all had very similar experiences. Number one, they all felt like somebody was walking around them the whole time, but nobody was moving. Like, everybody was standing still. The only ones that were beside him was Kyle and Terry, I believe. They were the only two that were close to him, but they were still. They weren't moving. And then he said his left shoulder, somebody touched him on his left shoulder when nobody was even touching him. So after a while, he was starting to get, he started to feel nauseous and sick. Oh. So he tapped out. And then the next gentleman, I believe it was Joe that went second, I believe. He had the same experience. He said he felt like somebody was walking around him. Joe, if you're still in the room, correct me if I'm wrong. But he felt somebody touch him, but it was on a different part of the body. I think it was his right shoulder or down his middle of his back. And then the third guy, who I can't remember his name, but he was a big guy. Like, he'd be like, looked like the type of guy you wouldn't want to meet in a dark alley, but super nice guy. But yeah, he said he had the same experience, that somebody was walking around him and then somebody was touching him as well. So it was really cool that all three had the similar experiences.
So it's probably just we couldn't see them. There probably was somebody walking around.
Well, they did have the motion lights wrapped around the chair.
Did anything go off?
And the lights were moving in a pattern like somebody was walking around.
Oh, what? Okay.
So yeah.
There we go. That's wild. I love that. This, I'm not usually a huge person on equipment, but when it can validate a personal feeling like that, that makes it worth it right there. Are you kidding me? Heck yes. I've always been one of those people. Like, how do you guys, when you go out and investigate, do you prefer the equipment, or like how do you guys do your thing?
With me personally, I don't mind the equipment, but I mean, my senses, my capabilities, my gifts tell me everything I need to know. The equipment is just basically there to back it up, more or less.
Yeah, that's okay. That's kind of like how I feel too. Michael John, what about you?
For myself, I mean, it's been, oh my God, almost 2 decades since I was actually on an investigation. I do all my stuff right here at my apartment. I'm a dabbler, and what I mean by that, I'll read a book. For example, the Ars Goetia, which is a Lesser Key of Solomon, is the book. List of 72 demons. It's sigil magic. You pick one of these demons, they'll do something for you. I don't like the word demon. I really don't.
Yeah, I don't either. Yeah.
You know, I just, okay. I want to, so the name of the one I use, she's you can have a male or female. It comes to you. She came to me as a female, Duchess Bune, be like boy, UNE. She came to me in a dream. I have her I do smoke scrying. That's my favorite thing to do. I use incense. I have a beautiful picture of her. It's in my book. I'm not promoting my book. I'm just saying I have a great picture of her materializing. I'm going to smoke her eye right down to the pupil. It's intense. I've shown it to countless people. It's mind blowing. But I don't use protection, if you will, like sage or ritual words or anything like that. I just do it. I use intention. That's it. Whatever it might be, whether it's scrying or getting out there. I do like using my phone. My guilty pleasure, if I am out I do have recorders, handheld recorders. But I find using my phone, even here at times, just use a recorder on your phone. That's all you need. But so going to the OSR when we're going in November, that'll be my first investigation in close to 20 years. But I'll keep it very basic. You don't really need a lot, in my opinion. Like Dale's saying, yeah, go with your feelings, like what you feel. You're going to feel them. Like you feel the temperature drop. You feel the static electricity in the air, right? You feel off. Your hair stands up. You're like, on and on. So for me, it's basic stuff. Basic.
Same, yeah. And you figure too, like we're all, at the end of the day, we're all energy. So energy can detect other energy. So yeah, we are our best tool. I think that's, for me, I went through the phase of, oh my gosh, I need every single piece of equipment known to man. I need it, right?
Yeah,
and then
right.
as I got it, I don't think I've touched half of it, because I really would rather sit there and vibe out a room and see, okay, what am I feeling? What emotions am I going through? Can I hear anything? Can I see anything? My inner sight or everything. I get a lot of times, and I wish, I really need to like sit down with somebody that can teach me how to hone these things. But every now and then I'll hear something with my inner ear, or I'll get a visual picture, but I can't ever control it. But the more I've been doing this, and the more I'm working with the divination, the stronger those things are starting to become.
Right.
I really do probably need to find myself someone that'll guide me through the process, so that I can turn it on and off at will. It would be phenomenal. Could you imagine?
That'd be incredible if we could all do that, right? Some people can. It's crazy that they can. It really is. What a gift.
We all have something, though. I think if we would all like focus in on something, I think we all are gifted in some form. We just don't always tap into it.
Right.
I would think that, and I tend to agree with you, is that it is all in us. To be able to pick up on things. And I mean, most people say we do all have psychic abilities. We all have these things, but it's a matter on how you want to use them. Or some people it freaks them out so much that they just shut it off and they never turn it back on again.
Yeah.
So it's, but in an investigation, so with you, when you go to a location, do you research the place? Do you find all the stories you can? Or do you just go in raw and say, I'm going to see what I get, and then later on backtrack and go, let's see if I can connect some dots here?
So this actually depends on if I'm working an event versus if I'm doing my own private investigation. So if I'm working an event, we have an amazing team that does wonderful research for each location that we go to. So we'll get like a breakdown of all of the information that they found, so that we can educate ourselves, so that we can help our guests when we get to a location. So if I'm working an event, if I know I'm going there to guide our crew for the evening through a location, I'll make sure I'll read the history, and I'll get as much information stored upstairs as I can for them, because sometimes people have questions, and you don't want to sound like a doofus and not know, you know what I mean? So you want
right.
Good
you
word.
want to be able to help your guests through their evening. If they want to know something, if you're able to give it to them, that's all the better. But no, if I'm doing one just for myself, just to have some fun and to get out there and connect with the other side, I kind of would like to go in there more or less blind, because then I want to try to tap into my own senses and see, okay, like what am I picking up, and then try to see if I can validate that afterward with like diving into the research after the fact, and then like what matches, what doesn't. And then if something really is off, I want to figure out why was I really off. So it becomes more of almost like an experiment than it does an investigation, I guess. I don't know I don't know how many people, I'm sure other people do that way. I cannot be the only one. So.
But that would be a good way to start honing in on your skills, like knowing what you could pick up compared to what a device will tell you, or what a piece of paper will tell you. Yeah. In my opinion, this is how I've been working with my gifts. Like I never really realized that I had any until a few events in my life. But now it's like every time I go on an investigation, it's like I try to use those skills more and more. So this way here, I can learn what works, what doesn't work, and how I can do things a little bit better.
Yeah, so it's like dialing yourself in, basically, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
I think someone's asking if you do readings over the phone, Dani Marie, if I'm not wrong on the side here.
Do I do readings over the phone? So
Someone's asking.
if there would be someone who's interested, just fair warning, the whole reason I'm doing divination with Dani is because I'm still learning. So for the most part, I go with my gut feels, and I'll tell anybody that when I do pull cards for someone, if what I'm giving them, and I'll give them what I'm getting, I'll show them the cards. And if they get something different, they might as well just run with whatever they get because it's a very personal thing. But yeah, if there would be someone who's really into wanting to get a reading, I'll do little readings for people. Absolutely. They can reach me through the Divination with Dani page.
Thank you.
Yeah. So that was a long-winded answer for yes.
No, that's perfect.
But that's the way we like it. We want to hear the full story, not the short sentence. We want to hear the full story. So, yeah. Dani, what would you say to this date, today, right now, this moment, what would have been your scariest experience you've had?
My scariest? Honestly, there's two as of late. Okay, the scariest, which are not even really I don't think it's so much as terrifying as it was. I was not prepared for this damn thing to happen, and it got me off guard. We were actually up at the Conjuring House not that long ago. I got to help out with an investigation there.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was very humbling and very awe-inspiring to be in this location, particularly because of the Get Haunted story alone that has a very strong connection to the Conjuring House. So just to be there, I was already, I think, like emotionally heightened, right? Because this is kind of where the story started there. So, in some ways. So we're doing the investigation that night, and we're up on there were some things that I was a little bit like, I don't know how to take this. Definitely were some experiences. But then we were all sitting in the middle bedroom up on the second floor there. And out of nowhere, this shadow just come flying right from the room in front of me, right past me and under the bed, which I was leaning up against the bed. And I was like, they literally just went right past me and just went right under that. I jumped. I almost landed in our other investigator, Kevin. I almost landed in his lap. That's how high up I freaking jumped.
Oh my God.
The crap out of me for that moment. And then it's not. And then the more I thought about it, I'm like, it's not that it was terrifying, but it was, holy crap, I just witnessed that. That just happened. And then other people were seeing something in that exact same area that I had seen something. Like, we all saw it a little different, but the fact that we all saw something, okay, like that happened. I can check that off my list. Got scared crapless at the freaking Conjuring House. So that's that one. And then I was recently out in New Egypt, the New Egypt Historical Museum, and they have a spot in the basement where there's some people are very uneasy. So I was like, I for some reason beelined it right to the corner. No one told me. I just kind of went right over there. So then later that night, we were sitting down. We were doing kind of just like vibing out the room. Then we're going to do some EVPs. I sat in the chair that they had put in the corner, and something yanked on the back of my hoodie. I jumped and screamed. Like I'd like to say I don't jump and scream. Apparently I do, though, because this is twice now recently that I've freaked out a little bit until I got my composure. But yeah, I mean, there are moments that do still get me. So
isn't that part of the rush, though? I mean, that's why we do what we do, and we get involved in any A to Z, any of this thing called the paranormal. However we do it, whatever we're doing, using a Ouija board for a minute in our house or out there in the trenches like you're doing all the time now, Dani Marie. It's like there's that moment, a shadow figure out of nowhere, someone pulls your hoodie. Oh my God, right? There's the second guess, of course. Did that just happen?
Yeah.
But also
nope, that happened.
Yeah, but it's so awesome, right? Those are gifts in themselves to get the Jesus scared out of you, right?
Yeah, I just didn't know that there's something. What is that? Is it another dimension? Is it another unit, like parallel unit? Like, what the heck are we even connecting with at that point? Like, that's where all the questions start flowing in. Like,
I love it.
Are they even passed away? Like, I don't even know. They could just be two parallel universes running, and like they bleed together for 5 seconds, and that's how we get an experience. I have no idea. Oh, one thing and has this ever happened to you? Sorry, now you guys got me on a roll with what?
Please go.
These things. I've been on investigations with our crew actually, and we've had over, I can't remember what device it was. It was either a walkie-talkie or like a spirit box or something. We had Rob's voice come through. Sarah and I looked at each other like, that's Rob's voice. what the heck? So you have those moments where we know it's not them, or like the person standing right next to you and you're hearing their voice coming over a device, and you would put money on the fact that they were there and they went through and talked, but it wasn't them. Like, have you ever had an experience like that? Like,
I can't say that, and you've had it multiple times, or you've heard Rob.
Yeah, I've had it twice now, for sure, that I can say, yeah, that was definitely.
I wonder who's following you.
Still living's voice.
I wonder who or what is following you guys.
Thank you, Sarah. Yeah, where were we at? We were at Randolph County. We were down in the basement when that happened.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, it totally sounded like Rob. We were like, what the heck is going on here? They do, though.
Everybody wants to be like Rob. We know that, Rob. Don't worry.
What if we were in the world? But do you guys ever run into that where it's like it mimics a voice, or you see somebody? Oh, like the whole doppelganger thing.
Right, or a trickster.
Yeah, I've had very similar situations, but most of the time it comes true, and it's something sounding like my father. So yeah, it's sometimes it really is him, but I have to pay really close attention to what he's saying or what the message is. Because as I'm learning, I mean, I know it's pretty scary to think. Like, I've been doing this for over 15 years, and still to say that I'm still learning is, I mean, well, I'm always learning. We're always going to be learning, but at the same time, I've got to be able to know, and when it's somebody that close to you, you know who they are, you know what their mannerisms are, you know how they say things. So you really got to be careful, because that could be somebody tricking to get closer to you so that they can do not so nice things to you.
Well, yeah. I mean, you think about it. If there's jerk faces in in the living world, when we cross over or whatever the heck happens, they might still be a jerk face on the other side, or there might be something that's always been a jerk. You know what I mean? And if they want to mess with you, right? I
already tell people, like, when I die, I've got a list of people I'm going to haunt just because they don't believe in ghosts. I said, I'll be the one that'll be spinning your pictures around while you're sleeping.
I want to be one of those ghosts where, like, you do something really, really subtle, like a picture will just be upside down and it'll take them a minute to realize. You know what I mean? Just like the real subtle, like, mess with you, like, what the heck is going on here moments. Yeah.
Oh my God,
absolutely. I think I'm gonna have the most fun when I go to the other side, because I'm learning everything about being a ghost on this side, so I can use it when I'm on the other side.
Do you think that, so, like, when we sit there and we ask all these questions, sometimes I wonder, I'm like, they must sit there, watch, they're all like sitting around watching us, like these idiots asking the same questions every freaking time. Like, do you think they ever laugh at us when we go out on investigations? Like, look at these guys.
Oh, I hope so.
I always, there's the one joke that always goes around. It's a cartoon thing, and it shows like investigators telling a story, and the other capture is a ghost going, "That didn't really happen. I didn't do that."
Nice.
That's how I picture them over there doing that. They're going, "No, you're not even close to the story."
Yeah, I always wonder, like, can they see? Like, that's one of the things I always try to ask you, like, what do we look like? Can you see? Like, can you hear us? Can you see it? Like, how do we come across to them? Because what if it's like, what was that movie? Oh my gosh, what was it? The Others, or Guys on the Side? I know someone knows what I'm talking about. Nicole Kidman, where like they never really leave the house, and at the end there's the whole twist of the movie where they were actually the ghosts. Like, what if it's
exactly
that scenario?
That, Dani.
Like, how do we know that we're the living ones?
How do we know we're not the ghosts? Like Andrea Perrin, you guys, you got to meet her, correct?
I did not. Rob did. Rob and some other did, yeah.
Okay, because Andrea shares a story. I'm not going to steal her thunder on the story, but the short version is, one time her mother was setting dinner at the Conjuring house, and she thought she heard the kids around her. She told them to go. I'm setting the table, and she turned around, and there's a completely different family sitting at the table getting ready to eat dinner. There was two gentlemen. The one gentleman nudges the other one, and he looks and he nudges up over like that, the nod towards Andrea's mom, and then he looked over at her. So there's one theory, right? Or what if it's all what if they're time travelers, like the shadow beings? Are they interdimensionals? Are they time travelers? Aliens? We could go on and on. We can talk about this for hours. I promise.
The whole time
I
travel
love the
thing
theories, right?
Yeah,
Theories are great.
I could spend hours going over the theories, especially even like the time traveling one, because time's not a damn straight line. I don't care what anyone says. Time's not a straight line. All things are going on the same exact time, and maybe it's just like time. Can time thin itself, or is that it?
Yeah.
Is that what we're seeing?
Yep.
I don't know.
Like Michelle Lavelle saying, are we still here? Michelle, we got to see you at the UFO Contact Convention this past weekend. It was great to finally meet you in person. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for joining us tonight. But yeah, are we still here? Exactly. Right?
Yeah. It blows my
mind.
Maybe
we're dead.
Who knew, right? Man.
Who knew?
Who knew? Do you guys, speaking of like we're talking about when we finally cross over, we're gonna haunt people. Do you guys have words that you're gonna do for EVPs? Have you told anyone this is gonna be the word that you know is me? Have you ever done that?
No, but I like that. That's great.
I think we need to write that down somewhere and just pass it around and go, okay, anytime you want to talk to me on a spirit box, if I say this word, you're really talking to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. My word will probably, I always use the word shenanigans, so watch that be the thing that comes through when I finally cross over. Everything's shenanigans.
Awesome. Let the shenanigans begin. There we go.
Oh, it's not Dani. There she is.
So, Dani, as a paranormal investigator, we all have a bucket list. What is your dream place to investigate?
Literally all of Edinburgh, Scotland. Like all of it. But definitely there is the underground, the vaults. I would love to go see the vaults. And then what is it? Greyfriars Cemetery out there. Basically Scotland. Just can I have Scotland and can I just investigate it?
Sure. Done.
Sure. Just take it. It's all yours.
I need to get my passport set up. I was going to do that and then I canceled the appointment and then I have to reschedule it because I plan on getting my butt over there sooner than later because I need to. I don't know. There's just something about that whole area. Just the fact that it's so rich with history and so many ghost stories come out of Scotland. So yeah.
Well, if you're ever over that way, reach out to Rick McCollum. He's always out there investigating. He loves Scotland.
There a lot. I'll have to be like, hey, man, he's going out.
I know
the those places for sure. He knows his stuff, man.
Well, his two books that he has out are all about investigations that happened in Scotland.
Yeah.
See that, and there's got to be some places around here that I haven't hit up yet. You know, it's funny. Like when people ask you that, I do have a list. I actually have it written down from when I first started, like shoved away in a folder. And then you get asked it, and then like your head just goes poof.
Yeah.
I don't remember. But you're like, Birdcage Theater, basically anything out west, all of Nevada, kind of, all of that whole area, Goldfield. There's a lot of places I've yet to go. Like I've not really left this coast. I need to start exploring. So many investigations, but what ends up happening is I do so many investigations in the same areas, like in the same spots. So like I'm really good. Like you can walk into some of these and they know my name. So it's like kind of do need to start venturing out a little bit more.
They're like, Dani, here comes Dani again.
What's happening with you and Get Haunted up the road? Like what's on your plate? I mean, it's the season of the witch now, if you will, right?
It is. We're kind of like
gotta be amping up.
We're actually we're kind of like towards the end of our season right now though. We have October 20th is Hearts of Hall, I think. Is that the 20th, guys? Oh my gosh, help me out. And then the 21st we have White Hill Mansion. And then we also have we have two Paracons coming up. The Phantasma, the Warrens. Is that the Phantasma Con? Yeah, the Warrens Paracon. And then we're gonna be back at Heartsif Hall. They're gonna the Warner. Guys, help me. Warner Preservation Society is doing Paracon there. It's going to be November 5th. So I'm really excited about that one because that's going to be, from what I've gathered from it, is just going to be like all the different teams out there. Like not really any paranormal celebrities, just like all the people that are in there doing their thing, finally getting together and getting to communicate with one another. Sarah, thank you. Oh my gosh.
So sorry, Rob. Sarah beat you to that one.
So yeah, I mean, a few things, and then you never know what happens. Maybe we'll throw a live or something out there yet. Season's not completely over, so you never know.
Dani, if
no,
someone
absolutely.
wants to reach out to you,
what was this?
If someone wants to reach out to you, perhaps, okay, so we mentioned earlier for a reading, perhaps, or maybe they want you to come, hey, Dani Marie, not necessarily as a Get Haunted, but we want you to come out and check out our home. We think there's something going bump in the night more than just the cats running around, if you will, right? How could they reach out to you if that's something you do?
I think the best way to reach out to me, especially if it has anything to do with divination or with the tarot readings, or just learning how to investigate more with your senses, would be through my Divination with Dani. Just messaging me through my Facebook page would probably be the easiest way to get a hold of me. If it is anything with investigations, I don't do private investigations, but I can get you hooked up with somebody that is trustworthy enough. I can help you out through the network. You can always email me at dani@gethaunted.com.
Nice.
If there would be a reason for that you need some help, I could always try to help you find somebody to get you in the right direction. But yeah, that's real simple. Divination with Dani or Dani Marie Facebook page, either one, or dani@gethaunted.com for anything that would be investigation wise.
Thank you.
So my suggestion is to everybody who's watching this show today, tomorrow, whenever you get around to watching the show, get over on Facebook, follow this fantastic lady on Facebook, get her tarot readings every morning. It's going to lift your spirits up, and it's going to set your day as get your day started in the right, good, positive way. So and I look forward to hopefully, we're going to be at the Warrens Paracon in October. So I look forward to meeting you and the rest of the Get Haunted crew finally in person. I met some of the crew last year because I was there for the first time to check it out. I don't remember who was there that I talked to, but I did end up meeting Sarah at Mid Michigan later on that year.
Oh,
so I look. Yeah, so I look forward to meeting everybody down in Connecticut. It's going to be another amazing event.
We phenomenal, absolutely.
Oh, it is. I've been to quite a few Paracons. I've been started since 2014 was my very first Paracon, and I'll tell you, size wise and the event in itself, they put on a very, very good event. And for a one-day event to attract the amount of people that they attract, I mean, they're doing something right down there. So it's another great event. So you can check that event out on Facebook. You can go over and see everybody that's going to be there. That's an amazing event in itself. But Dani, I just want to say thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to talk with us today, getting to know more about Dani Marie and the rest of the Get Haunted crew. We love you guys. You guys are awesome. Keep doing what you guys are doing, and I look forward to hopefully investigating again with you guys down the road somewhere.
Please, absolutely. You guys definitely come on out. That'd be so much fun. Thank you for having me, guys.
I guess it was Rob that I met because he's making it abundantly clear that I met him.
I love that.
But Dani, no, it was a great hour spending time with you, getting to know who you are as an investigator, and just to seeing how much passion you have, not who you are, but you are passion, by the way.
Thank you.
But it was great getting to know you guys, and like I said, I love what Get Haunted is doing. You guys are doing some really amazing work down there, bringing a lot of really cool events out, and also at the same time bringing the paranormal community back together and realizing, you know what, we're all in it for the same reason. So let's just get along and have a lot of fun while doing it.
Yeah, it's about the community. So why not bring the community together to learn and share and to grow together? Why not? I mean, it doesn't make sense to do it any other way.
Yeah, definitely. The message of community is at the forefront for Get Haunted. You can find out about all their events, all of the great members of Get Haunted at gethaunted.com. The TikTok went the paranormal clock tonight with the very paranormally passionate, as Dale just said, investigator, trainer from Get Haunted, the incomparable Dani Marie. Thank you so much, Dani, for taking time for us today. This is fantastic. It really was.
This
was
is
just
such
like
a fun show.
Three kids hanging out talking about ghosties, man. That's it, and that's how it should be. So thank you, and thank you, of course, to all our creeps, freaks, and weirdos that make up the TPV Nation from day one to day now. We don't get to do what we do without great guests like Dani Marie and without all of you, the TPV Nation. We will see you all on the other side. But in the meantime and in between time, happy hauntings.
Hauntings.